The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society, and we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings.
In ancient Israel, God forbid the Israelites from becoming involved in the religions of the nations around them, which, by the way, happen to be rooted heavily in many pantheistic beliefs. And if you trace those religions back, you can make a good case for the fact that they originated in ancient Babylon. And as people spread out from there, they took many of these teachings with them, and wherever the New World civilization sprang up in Southeast Europe, the Upper Nile region, India, China, Persia, these pantheistic ideas prevailed. They were just slightly different from place to place, but the core teachings were very similar. But in Egypt, for example, the people could not have survived without the Nile, without the sun and the moon, and so they began to emulate those above other things and began to worship them. Same thing has happened in India today. So pantheism and polytheism are actually very closely associated with each other. During the time of Christ, Jesus, of course, laid out the teachings very clearly, and Christianity began to spread, especially throughout the Mediterranean base after Jesus' death and resurrection and ascension. And as that happened, many of the ancient mystery religions began to crumble, and they had to take on a new form to be able to promote and carry forward their teachings. And so throughout the Middle Ages, you had secret societies spring up that taught many of these same teachings that prevailed among the high priests of these ancient mystery religions, these pantheistic religions. You had various Gnostic sects. In fact, they became the chief persecutors of the Apostle Paul in the early church. You had various Kabbalistic sects that applied mostly to the Jewish people that were deceived into the area of the occult. You had the Rosicrucian order, the Knights Templar order, ultimately Freemasonry, which has carried a lot of these teachings forward. And I'd say that organization, more than any other, has helped to lay the groundwork for today's New Age movement. Do you know, the people that I've already named, including Blavatsky and Bailey, were both high-level female members of Freemasonry. A lot of people aren't even aware that there's a female side to this as well, but there is. Much of the groundwork throughout the 1800s and 1900s was laid by people who were high-ranking Freemasons or were members of other secret societies.
The secret teachings of the Druids are said by some to be tinctured with Pythagorean philosophy. The Druids have a Madonna, or Virgin Mother, with a child in her arms, who was sacred to their mysteries. They also worshipped the sun, moon, and stars. Albert Pike says that the lost word of Masonry is concealed in the name of the Druid god, Hu. The meager information extant concerning the secret initiations of the Druids indicates a decided similarity between their mystery school and the schools of Greece and Egypt. The reference to the lion and the grip of the lion's paw in the Master Mason degree have a strong Mithraic tinge and may easily have originated from this cult. A ladder of 7 rungs appears in the Mithraic initiation. Faber is of the opinion that this ladder was originally a pyramid of 7 steps. It is possible that the Masonic ladder with 7 rungs had its origin in this Mithraic symbol. This cult is another excellent example of those secret societies whose legends are largely symbolic representations of the sun and his journey through the houses of the heavens. Mithras, rising from a stone, is merely the sun rising over the horizon, or, as the ancients supposed, out of the horizon at the vernal equinox. 2 quotations will further establish the relationship existing between the mysteries of Serapis and those of other ancient peoples. The first is from Richard Payne Knight's Symbolical Language of Ancient Art and Mythology. Hins Vero says that Colium and Terra, that is, universal mind and productive body, were the great gods of the Samothracian mysteries, and the same as the Serapis and Isis of the later Egyptians, the Tautos and Astarte of the Phoenicians, and the Saturn and Ops of the Latins. The second quotation is from Albert Pike's Morals and Dogma. "Thee," says Martinus Capella in his Hymn to the Sun, "dwellers on the Nile adore as Serapis, and Memphis worships as Osiris. In the sacred rites of Persia thou art Mithras, in Phrygia Attis, and Libya bows down to thee as Ammon, and Phoenician Byblos as Adonis. Thus the whole world adores thee under different names." For further details, see Faber's Pagan Idolatry, Albert Pike's Morals and Dogma, and Godfrey Higgins' Celtic Druids.
Centuries later, Paul gave a description which perfectly fits the course that the people of Babylon followed. Quote, "When they knew God, they glorified him not as God, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools, and changed the glory of the uncorruptible God into an image made like to corruptible man, and to birds and four-footed beasts and creeping things. They changed the truth of God into a lie, and worshipped and served the creature more than the Creator. For this cause God gave them up into vile affections." Unquote.
I have found that at the very heart and core of all these secret societies lurks the Kabbalah. The Kabbalah is the ancient Jewish mysticism. It is some of the most ancient knowledge that man has ever possessed, and has been kept secret and given only to those who have proven themselves worthy through the process of initiation. These people who belong to the secret societies never dared to write down in any language what they knew, what it was that they were guarding, because then someone could steal it and then the secret would be out. So they devised secret systems of encoding the secrets of the ages, the knowledge, the hidden knowledge, the occult. So they took this knowledge and they made it occult through a system of encoding, encryption, one of which is mathematics, numbers. Another is architecture. Everybody wonder, why do they have a fraternal organization called the Freemasons? Aren't those the guys that build walls? You bet they do. But every wall they build contains the secrets that have been kept and maintained throughout the ages, and it's encoded in the architecture and in the measurements of the buildings and in the mathematical formulas used to derive the geometry, the shape, the length and breadth and height of rooms. It's all encoded there.
The 16th century saw the rise of a very powerful society based upon a secret cult in the mountains of Afghanistan, the Roshaniya, or the Illuminated Ones. Bayezid Ansari of Afghanistan. He stated his ancestors had been granted initiation into the mysteries of the Ishmaelite religion, the secret inner training which dated from Abraham's rebuilding of the temple at Mecca, the mystical Haram.
The major tenets of this cult were the abolition of private property, the elimination of religion, the elimination of nation-states, the belief that illumination emanated from the Supreme Being who desired a class of perfect men and women to carry out the organization and direction of the world. Belief in a plan to reshape the social system of the world by first taking control of individual countries one by one, and the belief that after reaching the 4th degree, one could communicate directly with the unknown supervisors who had imparted knowledge to initiates throughout the ages.
I've spoken of 1,000 points of light, of all the community organizations that are spread like stars throughout the nation doing good. We will work hand in hand, encouraging, sometimes leading, sometimes being led. I will go to the people and the programs that are the brighter points of light, and I'll ask every member of my government to become involved. The old ideas are new again because they're not old. They are timeless.
Two years ago, from my research, I'm convinced it's much more serious than that. It's more than a loose-knit network. It is a conspiracy. And you know how the news media comes after us when we use the word C, conspiracy, that C word. Well, they can come after me all they like, because I guarantee you right here and now, we do have a conspiracy, and I'm going to prove it to you here today.